This is the third phase, which is going to be activation, also known as isolation. Now, the first muscle that we're going to activate is going to be the anterior tibialis. I'm going to start off, resistance band and a foam roller. Take my calf, put my calf right on top of the foam roller. Take my resistance band, put it right here at the top of the foot. And I'm just going to slide back. Have my foot pointed in plantar flexion. Nice tight core, shoulders back. I'm going to just raise my foot up into dorsiflexion slowly. Then I'm going to do eversion and go put my toes inward towards my other leg. Hold that. Then go back to plantar flexion. So I'm going to come up, fully dorsiflexed, do eversion, taking my toes and pointing them towards my other leg, going back into plantar flexion. This is going to work the anterior tibialis. Now for activation exercises, you want to do 10 to 15, just because you're trying to activate and make these weak, loose muscles stronger. Switch to the other foot. Calf under the foam roller. Resistance band right here at the top of the foot. Come back a little bit. Tight core, shoulders back. Foot plantar flexed. Then bring it up into dorsiflexion. And then make that toe point inward as if it's pointing to the other leg. Bring it back to plantar flexion. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm only going to do a few. I'm not going to do the full 10 to 15 reps. Perfect. Next muscle we're going to go ahead and activate is going to be the posterior tibialis. Found up in here in the calf muscle, nice and deep. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the same foam roller, same resistance band, except I'm being in a different position. Alright, so instead of facing the band, I'm going to be onto the side of it. Leg on the foam roller. The band will be placed the same position right here at the foot, top of the foot. Let's make sure my band is nice and good. Alright. Go, make sure that my foot is straight. Alright, so I'm going to start off dorsiflex. I'm going to go ahead and lower into plantar flexion. Then I'm going to go ahead and do eversion again. So I'm going to point my toe inward as if I'm trying to point to my other leg. I'm going to go back, then back up into full dorsiflexion. This is working that posterior tibialis. Nice deep calf muscle. Remember, for activation exercises, since we're trying to strengthen those loose underactive muscles, we're going to do 10 to 15 on each leg. For demonstration purposes and also just for the video view itself, I'll only be doing these on my right leg. Awesome. Great. So the next exercise we're going to do is going to be one that we had from the first video, which is going to be the 90-90 march activation with the feet turned inward to get those medial hamstrings. Medial hamstrings will be right here. Semimembranosus and tendinosus. All right, so for this 90-90 march activation, go ahead and put my heels into a chair, go into a higher surface. Make sure my legs are at 90 degrees. Make sure that my feet and legs are hip width apart. And keep a nice tight core. Slowly lift off the ground, making sure that I keep my heels planted nice and firmly into the chair where my toes are pointing towards the ceiling. Butt a little off the air, off the ground. Just slowly lift up, back down. Make sure that my toes are pointing inward to each other to make sure that I hit those medial hamstrings. Remember, we want to try to hit 10 to 15 on each side. Just feel a nice good burn in those medial hamstrings. Then the last exercise we're going to do is going to be a standing hip abduction exercise. I'm actually going to perform it on the side, but briefly, just so you guys know what's going on in the frontal view, I'm going to be standing on one leg, leg up, opening like that, back. I'm going to keep a nice tight core, and I'm going to try not to rotate. I'm going to just try to move the hips, hit that gluteus medius, hit that gluteus maximus. All right, up against the wall, have my arms pushed into the wall for support, tight core, on one leg, leg up 90 degrees, and then an abduct, moving it away from the body. Should feel a nice good squeeze in those glutes, glute medius, glute maximus. Also, too, try not to rotate when you're doing this exercise. Just stay nice and tight, moving those hips. Doing external rotation. Don't forget 10 to 15 on each side. All right, and do the other side. Whew. Nice and tall and tight. Tight core, leg up, abduct. Try not to rotate. Keep that core nice and tight. For the integration exercise, the last phase, we're going to end up doing some lateral walks with the band around the knee. I got my band right here. Go ahead, get it on my knee. Just go ahead, get it just a little bit actually above the kneecaps. All right. Keep a nice tight core and be slightly bent forward. Knees slightly bent, feet facing forward. And I'm going to try to make sure I push my knees out the whole time. The whole point of knee valgus is that our knees go inward. I'm trying to push my knees out, keeping my feet straight. So I'm going to go ahead and do my lateral walk. Doesn't have to be wide steps. Trying to make sure I keep the knees out so that they don't come in. Make sure I keep the feet straight. When I make my feet straight, my knees want to try to go in. That's when I got to push them out. Again. Remember 10 to 15 on each side. I'm also give you a side view as well. So, tight core, slightly bent, knees slightly bent. Then we're just going to go ahead and walk. Keeping them feet straight. Make sure those knees don't go in. They try to go in, make sure you push them out. That's what the band is for.